16 Minutes of Care is a podcast based on the CARE principles, a strategic framework that reveals how brands create impact by caring and, as a result, grow their business. In each episode, Isabel welcomes a company executive who explains how CARE has helped their business grow successfully and sustainably.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the last episode of 16 Minutes of Care with Meiny Prins. She is the CEO of Priva, a company that helps save energy and resources to grow people and plants in the perfect environments. We already discussed in the first episode how about having a strong mission, how about having a very good purpose. In the second episode, we dove deeper into care for people and care for planet and how that helps Priva build successful cases. In the third episode, the last one, we really talked about the deeper care strategic framework. We went into collaboration and agility. And in this last episode, Meiny, I would like to discuss with you a bit more maybe your personal purpose and your personal mission that you're on. But let's first talk about leadership. You are a female CEO in a tech world, a tech company. How is that? How do you lead as a woman in this very male-driven world?
I'm never wondering these questions.
No?
No, not really, because I think it's much more about having the same passion. I think the biggest difference is that it is not about your position at the end. It's about the shared passion that you have. And that bonds the people working within the company and also attracts young talent coming to work for Priva. And that's how I live, and I think that is how I am, yeah.
So gender is of no importance
Not
when you
at
have
all.
a shared passion?
Not at all, yeah.
Interesting. Like I said, you're a real change maker, a game changer, also on a personal level, because you have launched an amazing initiative. It's called Sustainable Urban Deltas. It's a foundation.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit more what it is and why you did this?
Yeah, it started in 2010 or 11, but just with an idea. And that idea was about we need to work on integrated solutions to become more sustainable. So we have to connect and look for crossovers. And what I also, and I'm just explaining a little bit about the start, because what I noticed at that time, and I was very much involved with a lot of policy making, so with top sectors policy making in the Netherlands and about energy, and a lot of the subsidies were combined or were connected to such a silo. But the future developments and the future technologies were always about crossovers. So energy out of water, or wastewater for food production, or so bringing everything into silos is not helping the real innovations forward. So those integrated solutions, and I thought at that time too, we need examples that it can work. So how a whole urban area can connect to a greenhouse and exchange heat for the winter or the cooling for the greenhouse, and how can you make sure that there is wastewater from the city being reused for. And so we were finding those pilots and being enthusiastic over it. And then afterwards, it was the problem of how to scale. So what I learned at that time, I had my examples and I took them with me when I was speaking in other countries in the world. So when I was invited to be a speaker, I had them, of course, on my slides. So I showed them. And every time I learned, they were very enthusiastic about the ideas, because it was always connected to creating more entrepreneurial mindset and businesses and different business models and more sustainability, of course. And then how to start. And that was difficult, because in many countries in the world, in the Netherlands, we have quite some of those integrated solutions, but it is difficult. So I thought at some point I need to start somewhere. So it is big and I need to make it smaller, but more urgent, more needed. And then it started with food. So the foundation, in fact, had its founding in food-producing cities. And my example at that time was the Netherlands. So I thought by myself, the Netherlands is the first food-producing city in the world. If the Netherlands is a city...
That's interesting what you think, is because we see the Netherlands as a country, but when you look at it from a world scale, it's that small that you say it's like a big city,
yeah, it's
which is a completely different thinking.
It's 17 million people. It's like New York. You have urban, rural. The Netherlands has the same. It has an urbanized area, Rotterdam, Den Haag, it's all urban. They have this green belt around it. It's the same. It's everywhere the same. And you have this green belt around London, and then within London you have the brownfields. And the brownfields are those places that are like unused land, so not really used at this moment because there's old industry. Or
yes, so the brown lands, very often it's like old industry fields within cities that are left abandoned.
Yes.
Nobody takes care of them. It's just like an old part of the city.
Most poor areas.
Poor areas, yeah.
And you have those green belts, and we know that those green belts are disappearing because not the next generation is going to work out there in the field, being the successor of their fathers, knowing that they will not earn a lot of money working hard. So they stay and stick into this city environment with their friends and where they have been to school and anything. So you have to reconnect that again. And brownfields are very interesting. To use them for food-producing ecosystems.
And where was the first real positive example that you saw this works?
Yeah, we had different ones. We had one in Mexico, and it was a very poor area, and there it started with very small greenhouses, and one family had one greenhouse, and they could take care, produce some food, and then after a year, and that is not accelerated, they started with $1,000 per family per year. After 1 year, they had like $10,000 per family per year. So with some education, some irrigation system, and some support from the government to build this up, from 40 greenhouses, today they have 70 greenhouses, so it's growing. And they have like the community pot for the money that they earn too much. That was like an agreement, so some you can keep for yourself, and some is going to the central community
to give back.
Funding to give back, and then from that they can do infrastructure, school. It's really nice. So you see that it's working on that kind of scale.
It's like a micro society that's been rebuilt.
But it also can be on greenhouses on the rooftop from a supermarket, and it's directly connected to each other, or it is an indoor farm in an old area, or it is like a floating farm in the Netherlands. Also a poor area, but it's like an old industrial part from Rotterdam, and such an iconic project there reconnects people too. Then it's about social coherence. So sometimes it's about the economics, sometimes it's about the sustainability or the health or the social coherence. It doesn't matter where you start, but if you see it, how you can do it and how that can grow. So, for example, that's the last example I want to give because it makes me enthusiastic too. If you can inspire New York, for example, and we had a look at all those brownfields in the city, the metropolitan of New York. Mostly it's more than that. It's metropolitan areas. They have about 2,700 hectares of unused land. Brownfields. If they create food-producing ecosystems within those places, they can become self-sufficient for more than 70%.
Wow.
Not even talking about the green belts. So it is possible. And you see it in the Netherlands. It is possible. I'm not saying that we do everything perfect. It's not really a good idea to have so much meat being produced in the Netherlands and then exported. Why not being entrepreneurial and go local? Also, me as an entrepreneur, be there. Start there with your knowledge, but not So that is a different way of working. I think we have to learn that more and more. That will come anyway.
Yeah, but one of the things, and there I want to tap in again into the care model, the R of reliability. I can imagine in the Netherlands, you have a very famous company. I mean, you're well known, you're successful. But how do you build your trust and reliability when you go to Mexico, you go to New York, or you go to Dubai, or you go to Singapore? How do you do that? You just go and open a door and say, hello, I'm Meiny, let me talk here about.
Yeah.
How did you build that?
It is very different to the business that we are in. If we are in horticulture, for a part, that is a niche market. So from out of a niche, you can become very international. And that is what you see with many smaller companies, like Priva, still a small company. You find them everywhere in the world, those Dutch smaller specifically, they are most specialized in a niche, so they're very globally there.
Yeah,
that's the easy one. So then you're recognized for the knowledge that you bring in the horticulture. The other world of us is the building automation. That's a more difficult one because there you have many manufacturers and many suppliers, and so then you can say, "Hi, I'm from Priva." And they say, Priva, building automation? No, we don't know. Yeah, we know it in the Netherlands, of course, but not in the rest of the world. There it is starting, indeed, knocking on the door. And then it's helpful that on your name card is CEO.
Okay.
That helps. Because then people tend to
listen.
Yes. Open the door more easy. So then I can do my pitch. I just sell Priva. I don't have any clue about the techniques, of course. So I just sell Priva. And then you can connect your salespeople to something that you think that is, for us, interesting to start with. You have to start somewhere, and it starts mostly with finding a partner.
But you also talk a lot to governments, to public and public power.
Speaking is in that is good. If you speak on conferences and people are interested by the story that you tell, then they will connect to you. So that helps. That starts. Yes.
We were just saying in between sessions that the world is really we are really going to very turbulent times, and we see a lot of leaders that are total idiots. That's
what we never had so many dumb leaders as of today.
Yeah. And your decision is, I will not put any more effort into these.
It is you can try, and I tried, of course, too, for many years with so many others that had really good vision. We know the solutions. It is proven. Why don't you just start to stimulate so that people will start using it? I gave up. After 10 years, I was like, what am I doing? It is not. I'm wasting my energy, and I think that is a point. So, and especially at this moment, it looks like that our leaders in this world are doing their utmost best to even help destroying the planet instead of making sure that we can cooperate together in going in the right direction. Sometimes it looks like that there is someone playing a game to make it even worse. Why aren't we not today just working together on creating a livable world instead of having a war, talking about Taiwan or China or power plays, or even still continue subsidizing this fossil fuel industry, or listening to them because they are lobbying on high levels, or it's insane. It's really insane. And we know this new economy that is going to be developed by us together will come anyway. So why? Yeah, why?
I think that the conservative powers are very strong, and they are doing everything to remain in power and to keep the power. And of course, the new world is coming, and we know that, and we see it. And I think you are definitely part of the new world. I'm also trying to be part of the new world with my
I like to be on the
principle.
other side. Yeah. I think with more smaller initiatives. So if you have a lot of small initiatives, at the end it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's my belief. So that is also where the energy goes to. That is what the foundation is for. So the foundation, of course, we are still small, and I don't have a lot, but at least we can connect and help to inspire, to give the examples, to start with this movement within these urban areas and with the people. You just touch and go out for the entrepreneurs, you talk to the government, you try to connect and try to make it happen together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your personal drive is to make the world more beautiful. Mine is to build a better world together. So I think we really found each other in both our missions. Really, really thankful that you took your time, because I know you're a very busy lady, to come to Antwerp and be my guest in the Care Principles podcast. This is the end of it. I would like to thank you very much for watching this, for listening to this podcast episode, 16 Minutes of Care. This was it with Meiny Prins. Thank you very much, and take care.
Want to create lasting impact with your brand while feeding sustainable growth? Check out thecareprinciples.com and see how we can help you. 16 Minutes of Care is an independent production from Isabel Verstraeten, brand strategist, founder of the Care Principles, and author of the book, Does Your Brand Care? Help us reach more companies who are looking for caring and sustainable growth by giving this podcast all the stars it deserves and by sharing it in your network. Thank you and take care.